Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I want to talk a little bit about idols. People have kind of stopped talking about idols that I've seen. Used to be a big subject, and there is, mention of this in certain texts that I don't need to bring up because the points are valid regardless of where they are mentioned. Idols are symbols, and they are also known as false idols sometimes, but really there's no such thing as a real idol when it's a symbol. It's a symbol to something else, a proxy that is to something that exists. So when you worship a symbol or an idol, for example, say a person is attracted to a Nobel Prize laureate, just a random example. Um, the Nobel Prize award is a great example because it's a symbol of achievement, but it's not the actual achievement. And I think there's a lot of confusion about this. So my aim in this video is to disambiguate some of that confusion. I think people are told so much that certain symbols are the thing itself that they have either stopped questioning it, or they never questioned it, or they've convinced themselves that the symbol is the thing, like the certificate or the diploma or the award, when in fact there's just some person in their office deciding ultimately, oh, let's give it to so and so, let's give it to this guy or that guy, and it's consistent with our program at that point. And okay, well, I'm not disputing that. I'm not even complaining. I'm not criticizing. What I'm saying is that the worship of idols takes the form, in this case, of a person being told who to feel strongly about, who to love, so to speak. I don't believe that people should be told who and how to love. So this connects with the idea, and this is why it's wrong. Okay, if you want to know why false idol worship is wrong, this is why. So, for example, if I was thinking about dating somebody and it turned out that person felt they were obligated to date me for some reason, or that they had to under threat or per agreement, like prior agreement with someone else, okay, that's a huge turnoff and potentially a criminal concern. So that should be obvious. And in the same vein, if I'm considering dating someone who's been told to date me, whether there's a threat or not, and whether they realize that they've been told or not, doesn't change the reality of it. The reality is, if a person has been bamboozled into thinking that you're something you're not because of the symbol that has been attached to you, that is the label or the award that was decided and printed off willy-nilly and handed to you for probably that purpose, just to fit with the program, that's inappropriate. It's not just a turnoff, but it's categorically exploitation. Using psychology, using influence, or awards, incentives as a third party to create change, to affect people's feelings for each other, is wildly uncalled for. There's no justification for that, because ultimately who people love isn't your business. It's not my business unless it's my business, right? Unless it's between me and someone else. And this ties in with consent. It ties in with legitimate romance, which has to be consensual. And one of the, I'm not going to go over that entire thing right now, but one of the definite steps of consent, there's 5 parts to it, it's mentioned in my other videos, is no group consent, no riders, that is, no conditions. You cannot be consenting if you have joined a group or a program that includes a blanket agreement, and part of that agreement is an expectation of having sex. That should be just obviously wrong. Sex and agreements thereof are between individuals when it's legitimate, when it's valid, as part of the definition, if you ask me. So anyway, I think that worshiping idols takes many, many forms. The biggest, most obvious one is worshiping money, avarice. We have a special word just for this category of idol worship. Money is a symbol to liberty. If you ask me, money is a proxy to liberty. It means that you can do what you want. You have the mobility to get what you need, to move around, to provide for yourself, to provide for your loved ones. But the money itself doesn't do any of that. It's a proxy, it's a symbol, it's an idol. And when you worship money, like our entire culture, unfortunately, is based on, you're doing just what I said. You're giving credit to the wrong thing. You're giving credit to something that has no role whatsoever, except as a symbol. It's important. The last thing I'll say about this is it's important to recognize that one thing isn't necessarily another thing. Blame. I've said many times, blame the right thing. Figure out what is the actual cause or subject, and this is connected to that too. So, if I draw a picture of a person, is that the person? For example, if I color it wrong or give them an extra finger, I'm not going to do that, but would that be disrespectful? I mean, would you feel strongly about that? I think that the people who do are confused, because that's not the person. First of all, it might be a caricature, it might be a satire, it might just be a photograph, it might be a video, it might be anything. But if it's not the actual person, it's not the person. It's a symbol, it's an idol, and people are super confused about this. You can create a policy on a piece of paper, and they say it creates behavior, it creates rules, but no, it at best case, it symbolizes the reality of a working situation that an administrator has observed and decided upon, or some process has decided upon. It represents a reality as a symbol. Doesn't create one, doesn't force you to do anything. It just represents a working model. That's what rules do. The rules are symbols too. Anyway, we worship these things. We say, oh, the rule made me do it. Not really. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.